Okay, so I'm going to show you guys my analysis from Friday so you can see what I had planned to do and what I thought was going to happen in this market with all this consolidation you can see here. So we had this big consolidation area for the last few days from over the holiday and everything like that after this drop. And I'll show you the video of my analysis so I don't have to go through it again. And then I'll get into what's happening now and you can pretty much see what's happened now. But I'll go over my trades that I took today and everything like that. So yeah, here we go. So we're looking at GJ on the monthly time frame. You can see that we ended up pushing up into this monthly supply zone and we had a pretty big rejection from it. It ended up dropping for about 300 pips to the day. So let's take a look at what caused that and how that happened. So we had this resistance right here, but we also had monetary policy and GJ's announcement on interest rates that ended up pushing price straight through that. So we had uh, two straight days of bullish momentum pushing up into this monthly supply zone. You can see once we created that top, we came down, created a support, hit that support, sorry, and came up for a double top. Once we created that double top, it was no looking back. We rejected that monthly supply, and from there, we have been trading sideways. So let's go into this, get our little tool here. You can see that we are currently trading sideways. So this is a consolidation period. There aren't many good trades in this area, as you can see. Um, Nothing that you'd really want to take. Maybe something like this, but it's in this choppy area. So maybe price breaking here. You might have been like, okay, let's take this price breaking, into this support, but it wasn't really that big of a move. You might say price came down into this support now. Let's take a buy. Still wasn't that big of a move. So we've just been kind of choppy up here, drop, choppy down here. And what I'm looking for is for this liquidity to get grabbed. So potentially the same idea that we have here, chop, chop, chop down, breaking that liquidity zone and coming back down to the 190. So that was where we originally created that. We had that resistance that was broken. We never came back and retested it. Now we are moving lower and potentially coming back to that break that we had. This was the monetary policy and the GJ news that ended up pushing price up here like that. So maybe we're coming back down to test this area. That is potentially what I'm looking for. I'm gonna just draw it up here. So as you can see, we're consolidating in this area. I would look for something that would first come for this liquidity from here, push back up here, something like that, and then come for this. Now, once we break this liquidity zone, it could potentially be enough liquidity under here to push us back up. But if not, then I would be looking for us to, let me just get out the poly tool, for us to continue straight down here. So let me just drag this down for us to come straight down here, if possible. Not if possible, but that's what I would like to see. And that's a trade that I'll be looking to take. How I'd get into it would be pretty tough because with this choppiness here, what I'd like to do ideally is take a sell somewhere breaking with momentum, breaking through this liquidity zone, coming down into this liquidity zone, watching how price reacts here, seeing if we push straight through or if we start to reject and push back up. If we start to push back up, then that's my idea that this trade might not work out and exit early before I go for break even. If price continues down, I know that our next target would probably be the 190, where we could potentially get out of the trade and then start looking for buying opportunities. If that so as you can see, we had the consolidation. We didn't break above this area. This was the area that I said if we failed to break it, or sorry, if we broke it, not if we failed to break it, if we broke it, then we'd be pushing back up to that monthly supply. So back up here. We didn't break it. We didn't even get a retest of it. We stayed within this triangle and eventually broke to the downside. So this is something that I drew up yesterday, I believe, just as an additional confluence because we had this trend line and then I was going to draw something like this, but it made more sense that these are the new highs, the current high points, this one and this one. And if we can break above that high, then we're going to retest this high. And if we break above that high, then the next high to break is this one, right? So yeah, we got the breakdown and it played out pretty much how I thought it would. So now from here, what we're looking for is either support forming, right? And coming back up, right? To test this initial break of resistance or break of support, or what we're looking for is a continued move down. So the opposite, right? So something 190 pushing down to 190 and then something like that. So support, break of support, push down to 190. 190 possibly will give us support to retest this area here, or we can continue push down. I don't know what's going to happen from there. In the short term, that's just what I see potentially happening. Now, let's get into my trades for the day because I did not necessarily follow this plan to a T, even though I had it planned out from Friday. So here we go. Here's my entry. Basically, this is our 191, our key level. We were failing to stay above it. We had a break above, pushed up immediately, it almost immediately came back down into the zone. I told myself, okay, I'm willing to get in here. Got in here. We had an initial push down, didn't last for too long. And as we came back up, I told myself, you know what? News is coming in 10 minutes. Doesn't really make sense to be a part of this trade if I'm potentially going to get, what this candle did to the upside and potentially blow the account, So I told myself I'm going to get out. I got out and news ended up pushing down. As you can see, it did what my analysis, what I had planned for. I didn't think it was going to happen so early in the week, but I said that there's probably going to be a catalyst that's going to push us down and go for that liquidity, and we did go for that liquidity. So I lost this trade for 2.5% and then got into another trade for about 1.5%. And this was more of, what would you call that? A revenge trade, I'd say, because I was looking for buys in a downward market. But the news that came out for the USD was positive news. I thought the correlation from my experience in the market has been that if there's positive news with the USD, then it's going to be probably a fake downside move and then a positive up move. I'm not a fundamentalist. I don't know. I'm not the guy who knows all the fundamentals in the market. Unfortunately, I need to learn more to help advance my trading. But from what I know from my back testing, what I've seen in the live markets, that's usually what plays out. It didn't play out this time, unfortunately, and it ended up continuing down. So it was kind of contradicting that I thought price was going to go down, but I also took a buy because of the news. And yeah, so at that point, that should have canceled out and I should have been no trade because I wasn't sure, or not sure, but I didn't have a clear direction on what's going to happen. I needed to wait for something like this, a break of support. So we created the support, break of support. I could have taken my sell where I ended up exiting the trade with stops above here, right? Or stops above here, whichever one, right? And yeah, that would have been the smarter trade. Could have taken it down here. Once the support candle formed, this confirmation of support would have gotten out and it would have been a small win, but it would have been a win. Yeah, but as you can see right now, we are just pushing down on the lower time frame. The 15 minutes about to break the low of the previous 15-minute, and we will most likely push to 190 unless that support is formed and we get that push back up. So we'll see, but it's good to know that my analysis played out. I'm reading this book, The Mental Game of Trading. And it's pretty good, man. It teaches you to basically not try and control your emotions, but to understand your emotions, to use them as signals. If you're feeling something, right? Like for me, I get kind of anxious in the market when I sit at the computer and I'm either I need to get out of a trade or get into a trade and I feel like kind of jumpy. That lets me know that I'm in a position where I need to just can't close it. It's not something where I need to go breathe, meditate, and control myself. It's no, for me, I know once I get to that point where I'm jittery, I'm no longer in control of this. I'm no longer fully in control of this. It's not there. I won't be able to make the right decision. So for me, that's a signal that I need to close my trade and either come back tomorrow or, come back in a later session, right? It's not a signal for me to go and breathe and calm down and, no, that I know that it's already far, it's long gone, that's long gone. So eventually with time and building that confidence, that would be, so what it talks about is your A game, B game, C game. That would be my C game. When I'm nervous in front of the charts, I'm not sure if I want to enter, exit, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it basically is my C game. And what I need to do is advance my C game, turn my C game to my B game, create a new A game so that I can or turn my C game to my B game, my B game to my A game, and create a new A game, which would be me as a better, stronger, and more confident trader. So that's what I'm working on right now. Not too far into the book yet, but I'm slowly getting through it, and I'm proud of that for myself. And yeah, just gonna take it one day at a time. I'm currently down 4%. We're gonna see what comes up tomorrow. I don't know if I'm gonna trade necessarily. I think I'm gonna wait for a move that I can really take advantage of instead of trying to trade the, inside of the day. Maybe like even if this was happening earlier in the day, maybe something where I take the bounce off of 190 and see if I can get maybe even 50 pips to the upside instead of trying to hold through all this, like saying like, oh, I think it's gonna go here and I think it's going to go here as well, and holding and hoping that it's still going to go to my zone. Just going to a 190 stops pretty close below 190, and then just let it do its thing. And if we come back and retest 190, I'm at break even. Stops at the key level. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm currently cooking right now, so I'm gonna get back to that. But yeah, thanks for checking out the video. Hopefully the analysis helps. Hopefully you're learning something from me, and I'll keep the content coming. Yeah, as long as I'm trading, and if I'm not trading, I'll try and find something else to talk about. I want to do a video on my journey more in depth on, the hard times that I've been through, not just saying like I've been through hard times, but actually explain like the the psychological side and the downside of my trading, and some of the good sides too. Some of the times where I was up and feeling like I was on top of the world, and then ended up going down to where it felt like, I had nothing, I had nothing going for me. So I'll get into that at some point in time. But yeah, thanks for watching. Take it easy. Have a good day. Peace out.